What's up, everybody? So today we're going to be covering a user question that came in on one of my videos. And the question was, how do I use Hashcat to unhash my root password? So this is a great question, and I thought it was a quick video that we could make, and I can show you how to do this. So what we're going to need is a few things. We're going to need to view the Etsy password file and the Etsy shadow file. We're also going to need to use a tool called unshadow to kind of combine those files. And then once we have those combined, we're going to go ahead and use Hashcat and try to crack our password. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so first things first, we're going to need to look at the Etsy password file. So if you just type in cat Etsy password and scroll up a little bit. So we see here that we start out with root, and root has the UID of 0. And if we look at all of these accounts here, these are just system accounts that come by default. If we scroll down to the bottom and we had any users in here, say we added a user named John, well, John would live down here at the bottom of the Etsy password file, typically. So when you're looking through an Etsy password file and you're trying to do a little bit of user enumeration, it's always good to look down here at the bottom to see if you see any users. So what this is it's just a password file, but there's not really any passwords in it. It just gives user information. So when we look at it, it says password, and it says password because it used to contain passwords way back in the day. So now it's just got this little X here for where your password should be or is, but that's actually located in what's called the shadow file. So if you're ever asked in like an interview what a important file is on a Linux system, one of your answers should definitely be the shadow file. And let's take a look at what that looks like. So we'll say cat Etsy shadow. And if we scroll up a little bit here, you can see that this root account has this long hashed out thing here, right? So we're looking at a SHA-512 hash, and that is the default hashing for Kali Linux. If you're on a different form of Linux, it may be a little bit different depending. So you got to make sure you determine what kind of hashing type your system has. We are using SHA-512 here on Kali, so we're going to go ahead and go with that. So when we have this account here, you can see the hash out format. And typically, as a default user, you should not have access to this file. Typically, it's root. And if you have permission, like sudoers permission, etc., then you should be able to see this file. Where this comes into some sort of importance is, one, if you are a lower level user and you're trying to escalate privileges or just capture and dump hashes on an assessment, this is really cool. You have privileges that you shouldn't have, and you may be able to use the root password to get access somewhere else, or just crack the root password and get full access to the system you're on. Another benefit in a real world situation is if you already get root access and you dump this credential, but you didn't know the password by chance. Say there was some exploit that got you onto the system, you don't know what the password is, you don't want to change the password, but you want to dump the information. So you can dump this shadow file and try to crack the password and also obtain the hash. So very, very useful there. In other non-real world situations, you'll see this a lot on like capture the flag type events or like a hack the box, where you get in and you have these insecure permissions like this, and it'll allow you to at least see the hashing and possibly crack the hashing, or at worst you might find a new user or something out, some kind of information that you didn't have before. So it's always important to check your password file and your shadow file. So let's go ahead and combine these two. We're going to use a tool called unshadow. So if we type in unshadow here, you'll see it says password file and shadow file. So very, very straightforward. All we got to do is type in Etsy and then password like this. And then we can also type in Etsy shadow like that. And then let's just go ahead and store it to a file called unshadowed.txt. And then we're going to cat that out. And let's just take a peek at what it does. So it's kind of a combination of the both files. That's really what it is. You see, it gives the root with the hash here in place of where that X used to be. Remember, we saw the X in the password file. Well, it replaces the hash or the X with the hash. And now we've got a full-on password file. This is called unshadowed. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this unshadowed file and we're going to try to crack it with Hashcat. So depending on the complexity of your root password and the strength of your password list, you may or may not have some success here. So I'm bad at security, and I left my password as TOOR, which is the default password. We should be able to find it pretty quick. Now, if you want to test this out for proof of concept, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do, but you're more than welcome to have some fun with this and try to crack your own password using a word list such as rocku.txt. But I made a tiny little word list that is 5 words long because I know the password's in there, and we're going to use it to crack it. So another thing too, we're going to be using Hashcat. Now you can use Hashcat in Kali, and you can use it with the ending of -- force, something like this, with the syntax that I give you. I'm going to be using Hashcat on my Windows machine because it's outside of the VM. Outside of the VM allows me to use my graphics card for hacking and cracking purposes, and it's something that you should get used to. So if you're running your Kali Linux on your machine unvirtualized, great. You can go ahead and follow along with Hashcat. You can also follow along with this -- force, which allows you to use a CPU as opposed to a GPU. But I should add a caveat here is that for me, I have a 9th generation i7 processor, and as of right now, even the -- force does not work for me. So if you're on something newer on a CPU term, it might not work. So you may have to go out to Hashcat's website. I'll link it down in the description below and download your Windows version, or if you're on Linux or whatever you're running, just know that you want to run it on your GPU just as a best practice because the speeds are going to be incredibly fast comparatively. It's going to go fast in this example anyway, just because we're doing a very small word list. But if you're trying to parse through millions and millions of word lists at once or characters at once, right, you're going to have issues if you're not using a GPU. So let's go ahead and go to our Hashcat on a Windows machine. Okay, so first things first, I just want to show you that I'm in this Hashcat 4.2.1 folder. You could use this version if you want to download an older version. I think they're up a little bit higher now. They may even be up to 5 at this point. I'm not sure where they're at. So I've been using 4.2 for a while, and it's worked out just fine. I've gone ahead and taken that unshadowed file that we created and put it over here. And the one thing I did with it is I just took out all the other garbage because we don't need any other users. We're just trying to crack a root. So your unshadowed file should look something like this, where it just ends with this bin bash right here. And then I created a passwords list as well. So this is passwords.txt. And I just put 5 passwords in here, potential passwords, with Tor, T-O-R, being one of the passwords that we have a good hit on this. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you the syntax and what I would run in order to try to crack this password. Okay, so I am in a command prompt. I am in the folder of which my Hashcat lives. I'm on a 64-bit processing unit, so I'm going to say Hashcat 64. And if we give it a -- help, we can look at some of the commands here, and there's a ton. Most importantly, what we're going to need is a -m command, which is going to be the hash type. And if we look through the operating system, we don't have to scroll up that far. The operating system hashes. We're going to be looking for this SHA-512 right here, Unix SHA-512. And it is going to be a number of 1800. Knowing this number is incredibly important because it defines what type of hash it's trying to crack. So if you ever need to know the hash that you're trying to crack, the number, you can do a -- help. There's also cheat sheets online that have this information as well. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do something like this. We're going to say Hashcat 64. We're going to give it a -m of 1800 because that's what we saw. And then we're going to say we want unshadowed.txt here, and passwords.txt is what we're going to use to try to crack it. We hit enter, and it goes through it. It's going to initialize here. It might take a second. Okay, so now we see the results. And it takes a little bit here for machine to get initialized. So if you took a few seconds for yours to get initialized, don't worry about that. I sped up my video. And what you're going to see now is we took this long hash, right? And it broke it down and cracked it and said TOOR is your password. So it's got the 1 out of 1 on the recovered, and it has found it. So awesome. That's all we needed to do was to find this password, and we used it successfully with Hashcat. Now, again, I'm going to tab up. If you were using Kali and trying to follow along, you should be using -- force, as you're not going to be running on a GPU. Again, I do recommend using this on your non-VM workstation because any kind of GPU is going to work out much, much better. Even I used to have a 970 before I had this 1080, and the 970 cracked passwords in seconds, which would take hours when I was running through a VM. So just keep that in mind. You're talking a huge time difference when you use it through a GPU. So that is it for this video. Great question from a user. Please do keep the questions incoming. If there's something that you think I could cover and you want to see, comment down below. I'll go ahead and give it a go if I feel like I have the expertise on that topic. And also, please do like, subscribe, share if you enjoyed this video. Word of mouth is the best way that I grow as a channel and I can keep providing content to everybody. As always, check the description down below if you want to chat with me on Twitter or if you want to chat with me on my Discord channel. So until next time, I thank you for learning with me, and I will catch you later.